Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another episode by the Pokemonster. So as you can see, we have a 9-pocket binder from Ultra Pro here with a nice zip locker. And this is probably the first time you see this binder in this configuration, and it will also be the last time. Here we have my incomplete set of Pokemon card 151. Now in the past I have talked about this a lot on the channel. I want to dismantle this binder and repurpose it for all Pokemon card art rares, illustration rares, special illustration rares, trainer galleries, character rares, you name it. I didn't really feel bothered to dismantle the set. I was a bit lazy and I didn't need the money. Now I need the space, I need the binder. So let's have a look at this incomplete set while I'm going to tell you what I'm planning to do with it. At one point I started buying single cards. Here we have the reversed Holo Pikachu. I tried to get every card in reverse, but I was not even bothered to add it to the binder anymore. A long time ago I lost interest in completing master sets. During Sword and Shield I opened a lot of collection boxes, and then you naturally get a lot of different sets. I started to put all these cards in the binder. I tried to collect all Sword and Shield sets. I found out that's not really realistic. I had all sets complete 50, 60, 70%. Then I decided to sell off all the cards and put the funds towards 2 or 3 sets. Eventually that happened to be Battle Styles, which I have almost complete right now. Now back to Pokemon card 151. When this set was released, I was already planning on not to collect master sets anymore. But this set was so nostalgic and popular at the time, I started to rip packs again. I purchased an entire case of ETBs and I had a 10 booster bundle display. I have purchased and sold a lot of Blastoise EX and Venusaur EXs already. I just didn't want to collect the set anymore. When I started to buy single cards to complete the set, I saw the Daisy's Help, for example, in the Erika's Invitation, and I started to buy 20 copies of each of those. And I found out that I liked that way of collecting way more than collecting one of every card. So let's take a look at how far we got in the end for documentation. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell all these cards. Maybe I will put them in an ETB so we can take a look at it later. But some cards are worth $1 here or there. I believe some of the reverse holos are more than 50 cents at the moment. I remember a Metapod, I made a short about it. Metapod reversed holo was at one point, but that was during the 151 hype. It was about 125 for a reversed holo. So then we come to the point where I opened an entire booster bundle display, which is also shown on the channel. And then I purchased a case of ETBs. And once I started opening these ETBs, I purchased them for 50 a piece. I had some of the most and the least luck I have ever had in opening Pokemon card packs. We opened the first ETB and we only hit this Charizard EX, which was at that point worth $5-6. So it was goodbye $44. I realized in the end I should have never opened these ETBs in the first place. But in the second ETB, I pulled the back-to-back, the Erika's Invitation and the Zapdos Special Illustration Rare. So that compensated a little bit for the first ETB. I believe the Switch was even in this same ETB as well. But then I decided to keep the rest sealed, and they are still stored away. Now you know by now I'm a huge Zapdos collector. I've not talked about it that much in this year. If you're watching the channel for a bit longer time, you can see I have a Zapdos collection, so naturally this Zapdos will go into there. These will go into the 4 trainer binder and the special illustration rare binder, which will this become eventually. The Golden Switch I might sell. Here you can see I was really planning to collect a master set. We have the reversed holo variant here of every holo. And in the end of the binder we still have a couple of pages protected by the plastic. Now there are several ways how I can go about it. I am a starter Pokemon collector, so I can put all those starter Pokemon aside, sell the rest of the cards. What will be a nice consequence of me listing all these cards online for sale? They are not expensive in itself, but I now have a large inventory that is not too much looked at the last weeks. So if I put some new cards online that might be still heavily in demand, there is a chance that people will buy other cards from my inventory as well. So it will help me to clean up some cards that I want to get rid of. I need some more cards, some more variety again. I have now done the trainer gallery sales for a few weeks in a row, and the demand starts to decline. Now I don't know if that is because of the current state of the Pokemon card market, or it can simply be the weather, or perhaps it can also be some other changes that I have implemented in the last few weeks that are not really liked by the buyers. Personally, I think it's a large mix of everything, a little bit of everything. What I noticed in the Pokemon card market this year was that January was a really nice month. February, the sales volume was the same or increased a little bit, but the revenue decreased a little bit. March was the same as February. April it decreased a little bit more, but the volume stayed the same, but the revenue decreased a little bit. And now we're in the second week of May, so it's Monday now, and this weekend the sales volume was still the same. I sold a lot of cards, but only 1 to 10 buck, 1 buck here, 10 buck there. So the revenue really decreased. There were no larger purchases of 50 bucks anymore, not 100 bucks, etc. Now I have had these weekends in the past as well. It made me very nervous, but a few days later the sales were all back to normal. So long story short, it can just be a small dip, but I have to admit, I was going to dismantle this binder and show you the footage is 2x speed while I was talking in a voiceover about the current state of the Pokemon card market. But I realized after 3 to 4 takes of trying to record the voiceover first, realized at this point in time, literally today, this week, there's not a lot to talk about on the Pokemon card market. We have the black and white set with Black Bolt and White Flare. That will be a giant set of 156 illustration rares and special illustration rares. Well, you can see why I need to repurpose this binder. If we are going to collect more special illustration rares and illustration rares, I really need some space for all my illustration rares that I have already collected. But there is not really a lot to talk about in the Pokemon card market at this moment, besides the black and white set coming up. The print quantity is probably going up a lot. Restocks are happening left and right, and people talk about reprints, price drops, price rises, buy, sell. Everybody is giving everybody advice. Destined Rivals is coming up in a few weeks, maybe 1 week now, I don't really know. And it only takes a month for the Japanese black and white set to be released, so it is really quick. I feel everything is going really fast right now, all the developments in the market, from Pokemon itself, in my buying and selling story adventure. Maybe everything is starting to get a bit saturated. So the last couple of weeks, what also is the problem, I start to get a little bit bored when sitting behind my desk. So yeah, well, I don't really have a lot to report besides what I just told you. I think I'm going to dismantle this binder by myself. I'm gonna make a little short video out of it, or I'm gonna add some rain noises and then use it in an entirely short video. I don't really know what to do with it, but it is too much work for me to talk an entire 10 more minutes, because there is not a lot of changes happening in the Pokemon card market. It starts to become a little bit the same, everything. I don't really have a lot of money at the moment. Everything is basically locked up. So I don't really have a lot of money to buy and sell new items, try new experiments. Due to the revenue decreasing, I'm constantly trying to get everything that I get out of the Pokemon cards back into the Pokemon cards, but it becomes like selling one card, buying one card, selling one card, buying one card. So now I'm basically waiting. I'm waiting for someone to buy for 50 to 100 to 200 bucks again, so I can really try something new. There is not really a lot happening. I'm buying one card when I'm selling one card. I try to make 20 to 30% profit, so after I sold 4 cards I can finally buy a 5th card, which I will also add to the inventory. But yeah, that's about it. I don't really know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I try to come up with something new.